So, Liam, is the water going to keep flowing for Thames Water customers?
I think the water will keep flowing, but it's clear that Thames Water hasn't got money to hand to do lots of the repairs it needs to do with leaking sewage and so on, and upgrading what's essentially Victorian infrastructure. Let's just think back to where Thames Water came from. I've put some bits of information here in a graphic for you. Thames Water was privatised all the way back in 1989. And it's huge. It covers lots of London and the south east, across to Gloucestershire, all the way to Kent in the east. Almost, more than 1 in 4 UK households are serviced by Thames Water. It covers 27% of the population. It's absolutely huge. We don't often talk about it, but it's partly owned, as we can see in the next graphic, by the Chinese government and the government of United Arab Emirates. That's Abu Dhabi in the next graphic. And, of course, it's got a £14 billion debt pile. And this is a lot of the problem, Mark and Pip. Interest rates are going up. Interest rates are going up. That means everyone who's got debt is having to pay more on that debt.
Including public utilities.
Including public utilities. It's not just a mortgage problem. This is happening across the corporate world, not just in the UK, but across the whole global economy. And as those debt service costs go up, I mean, Thames Water, they're kind of spinning, oh, it's because we want to be nice to the environment, and oh, it's because we want to meet our climate change obligations and all the rest of it. But be in no doubt, they've got a massive debt pile. They're now screaming at their shareholders, give us more money, give us more money, so we can service the debt. And that's the danger, that the debt could act on the corporate markets. The price of the debt is now dropping like a stone, and that's why I wouldn't say bankruptcy because the government can stand behind it, but certainly insolvency, a cash crunch
the government
is
is being asked,
a real probability.
How much, could this bailout cost? Could it affect people's pension funds as well? There's huge ramifications here.
Well, it's certainly in the realms of a lot of money when your debt stock is £14 billion. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just so people know what £14 billion is, that's between 2 and 3%. 2 or 3p in the pound on the basic rate of income tax. It's a huge amount of money, but I'm not sure it's going to come to that. I do think the shareholders will come up with more money. They can restructure the debt. Obviously, they've got the British government standing behind them. But be in no doubt, what does this mean for us? Well, it's not going to help our bills to go down, and it's probably going to help our bills to go up. And some industry analysts are talking about an increase in the average annual household bill for water from something like 450 quid over the next couple of years to 650 quid.
But just
a big change.
Just to touch on what Sir Vince Cable was talking about, this sort of spectre of nationalisation, it would be an emergency measure, it would be a temporary thing, but where does that leave the debt? Does it leave us, the taxpayer, more exposed to having to bail the company out?
Well, that then depends. It depends on really complex things like, bear with me, the covenants on the debt.
Exactly.
It depends on the technical obligations in the contract when the money was lent. Certainly, a lot of the financial markets think that if it's nationalised, some of the debt that was extended to it as a private company might not be worth... It might not, as we say in finance, be made whole. You might not get all your debt back. You might get, a certain number of pence. I'm speculating, a certain number of pence in the pound. That's why the price of the debt has plunged, and what we call the yield on the debt, the amount of money investors want to carry on lending, has gone up.
And why Jim McMahon, obviously the shadow environment minister, wanted some answers in the dispatch box earlier, that urgent question.
Because the markets are looking. Look, I don't think it's going to affect anyone's water supply. Let's be completely clear. I don't think it's going to mean any immediate increase in your water bill. So we should just park that. But I do think it demonstrates that all bets are off at the moment as interest rates rise. If a Conservative government, a Prime Minister that said he grew up with Margaret Thatcher as a heroine has to reverse one of the kind of Thatcher-era privatisations, we are in ideologically turbulent waters. And it also means that as we go forward, this debt and the interest payments on it are going to sit on the balance sheet of Thames Water. And in the end, the 27 million of us who are serviced by Thames Water are going to have to pay for that.
And questions are also being asked about the financial situation of other water companies as well.
This is what happens when interest rates go up. People like me talk about, oh, interest rates could go up, oh, well, whatever, maybe ask me about their mortgage. It affects the whole economy. Nothing is more important when it comes to money than the cost of servicing your debt, as the British government is finding, as many homeowners are finding, as many of us with credit card bills and other personal loans are finding, and as corporate Britain is finding and that includes our public utilities.
Yeah, and other companies who may be quite leveraged. Liam, thank you for taking us through all that, and of course we'll see what emerges this afternoon. We're being told by the Minister, of course, who is at the dispatch box, water sector is financially resilient, but off what working closely with a company or any company facing financial stress. We'll update you as we get more.